Hi and welcome. My name is Anya Grace, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing some really powerful feminine energy downloads and energy activations for us right now at the end of 2019 as we get ready to step into 2020. So this is actually a slightly new form of live stream that I'm doing for everyone. Welcome. I'd love to see and hear who's here, where you're from. And later on in this video, I'm also going to be answering some questions. But first and foremost, this video is actually a space that I've decided to create on a monthly basis where I'm just going to be sharing more of my personal downloads that I get around what's happening in the universe and sharing that with all of you. So in this specific video, we're focusing on what healing actually means, why it's important right now, specifically as women, and for the whole planet, every human being, how to heal the collective wounds that we hold as women, which really plug us into a paradigm that's no longer serving us, and how healing actually is the most powerful way that we can manifest what we really want. So I'm just going to dive right in. I kind of wrote a lot of notes, but a lot of this has been coming in over the last few weeks. Welcome. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And yeah, so I'm the founder of Elevated Woman, which is an online platform where we do feminine energy activations and trainings monthly, as well as over the course of time. But this specific video is more just like a personal download sharing. So I'm just going to completely go for it and feel free to ask questions throughout the process. So first and foremost, I'm going to start with this one phrase that came to me just a couple nights ago, which is that I am not a healer, I am a revealer. And a lot of the work I do is healing work, energetic work, but I've never felt comfortable saying I'm a healer because it implies that there's something, first, when we approach self-development and healing from the perspective of there's something to fix inside of us, we're actually really working against the healing process. And it's actually most of the time perpetuating exactly what we're wanting to let go of. In truth, your divinity and your sacred energy is all right here, right now. All of your power is already available to you. And as we step into 2020, this is key to understand that ultimately what's blocking us from having a life that's fully in alignment with our highest potential. There's a couple things, but one of them is not living in accordance with the core truth that we were birthed into this world with. So this is another, I wasn't actually going to share this, but apparently it's happening now. So the biggest download that I received over the last month is that ultimately every single human being has a core code. And this core code is unique to each individual. It's like our own blueprint. It's like the black and white of a film. And this core code is free of fear. And it's this whole map of our lives and what we are meant to experience and what's possible for us in alignment with our highest possibility. What a lot of human beings are doing, though, is we're living not in accordance with that core code. We're living from a place of the conditioning and the distortion of energy that sort of disrupts us from being able to see and be in that core code. So our work as spiritual seekers, our only job is to simply decipher and clear away the energies that are blocking us from existing in that core code. The core code is what allows us to, so ultimately there's one energy coming into this plane. There's one energy coming onto this earth. And that energy is the oneness. It's Om. It's all the same energy ultimately. It's light. But when it hits us, when we receive this energy, that energy is projected out into the world, and that is the external world around us and our universe, your life right now, where you live, the friends that you have, everything that is happening, the circumstances that you're calling in and creating. Everything is responding to the light that's activating your coding system. And how satisfied you are in your life depends on how closely you are letting that light simply emanate through your core code, or if that light is getting distorted through your fear and conditioning. And when we are living out of fear and conditioning, we're living, but there is resistance and discord and discomfort in our lives, because why in the world would the universe support us down a path that isn't in alignment with our highest possibility and truth? So again, I'm going to say it again. Our only job as spiritual seekers is to seek the core code that we were gifted with. Within that lies all of our personal power. And really our destiny and it's our destiny, our purpose here. It's what is meant to unfold in the highest way possible. So welcome if you're just hopping on. Hi, everyone. Hello from Turkey. That's so cool. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So how does this connect to feminine energy and feminine power? I'm just going to take a moment. So I've been really deep in meditation, and I've just been diving back into my practice in a really big way recently. So I'm kind of a little like in that right now. I'm just dropping in and being present here, but I might move a little slower right now. So, all right, so we're going to shift to another part of this and circle back. So I'm not a healer. I mean, I do healing work and I do energy work, but what's more accurate is that I am a revealer. I am not a healer. And I actually don't think there's any healers out there. If a healer is really doing their work, they're simply supporting the individual to reveal the truth that's already present. That's what healing is. It's simply revealing what's already here. It's revealing the core code. And so then we move into another aspect of this whole powerful download that's been coming in, which is my work in Elevated Woman is disruptive, and it's intentionally disruptive. It goes against the status quo because ultimately, well, it's just my truth to share what I've been sharing in that way. But what's powerful about disruptive energies, so disruption is essentially anything that kind of is going against what the norm is. And what is disruptive is ultimately a way that the universe can expand. So we are the universe expanding, and our life is essentially just the universe. Like it's like watching a movie through us. It's experiencing itself through us, through itself. We are that. So when we disrupt energy and we essentially say, okay, this is how this is the norm right now. This is how human beings have been living and existing. But this isn't actually what I want. This isn't creating the powerful, harmonious life that I really want. There must be another way. Startups are disruptive. I actually had this first conversation with one of my old clients in Palo Alto who had started many startups himself. And we were having this conversation about disruptive energies and how ultimately anything that's disruptive is going to gain more support, more energy from the universe, because that source of disruption is actually a portal point that the universe can expand. So that being said, a lot of what I've been talking about at the end of this year has been a bit on the disruptive edge, and actually even cutting edge, in the sense that it hasn't been that comfortable necessarily for a lot of people, because what I've been called to do is to call forth recognizing all the ways that we've been giving our power away, specifically as women, and plugging into a paradigm that literally keeps us in a state of submission, where our Shakti force, our divine feminine energy, can be exploited and used. So one of the ways that that happens is just all the ways that we've been conditioned around food and exercise, around our diet and our body, around performance and success. Everything that we have been conditioned to believe about our value, it ultimately has stripped us of our power because we continuously are distracted by these thoughts that are taking us out of our center and putting us in fear, in self-judgment, in blame and doubt. And that's one of the biggest things that is important to recognize right now. That, okay, this is a big part of the download too, that the earth, Mother Earth, this natural earth that we live on, is the ultimate goddess, right? As we learned in science, in our science classes as kids, conservation of energy is a massive aspect of nature. And every human being, every species, every plant is ultimately coded to conserve energy. Energy is the most valuable thing that we have. Energy is feminine. Energy is the divine feminine. The awareness and experience of that energy is the divine masculine, but the energy itself, Shakti, is feminine. So not that the awareness is less valuable. We need both, because if we don't have an awareness of the energy, then the energy doesn't even really exist. And if the awareness didn't have something to be aware of, then the awareness couldn't really exist. So that's how they're both valuable. But just in the physical, energy is highly valuable. So we've been conditioned to ultimately be stripped of that power, to drain our energy through our own thoughts and our own feelings. Our work, again, as spiritual seekers, is to ultimately unplug from that paradigm right now and say no pretty fiercely. And that's why there's a bit of cutting edge sometimes to this work, because we sometimes have to pull out the swords like Durga and Kali, some of the fierce goddesses that are worked with in some mythology. Sometimes our work as women, as leaders, as individuals at this time healing, is to get a bit fierce and to pull out the swords and have discernment and be able to recognize, is this situation actually serving? Or is this a situation or a circumstance that is continuing to perpetuate my disempowerment? Is this a situation where my energy is being drained? All right, so I hope that's making sense. I'm just going for it. Again, this is kind of a new form of live stream for me, because this is what I talk about with my close friends. This is what I'm thinking about pretty much all day, every day. But sometimes I will change the languaging of it when I bring it forward in public, and I'm recognizing that that's not what I'm meant to do anymore. So I'll be doing a little bit of both. All right, so cutting edge, like the very words cutting edge, is sharp. There's a sharpness to it, and it's powerful in that way because we can cut away. One of the things that Elevated Woman, that I stand for in this movement of Elevated Woman, is that human vulnerability is protected, not exploited. But right now we live in a world where human vulnerability is exploited. And that is everything that I stand against, because human vulnerability is the heart energy, it's innocence, it's the child, it's pure. And we are all that at our core. There wasn't one day that we gradually became adults, but we really are still the innocence of that child. There's not a day in our phase of growing up that we suddenly lost that innocence, really. We have that within us still. We are that pure and that sacred, just like a little baby. So part of what we're doing sometimes is to bring out the warrior within us, the warrioress, and take out those swords and be able to stand for what's right in a way where we use our voice and our energy in a powerful, strong, message to this world and we say, no, I am no longer available for that. That is not, I'm not interested in that. That does not honor me. It is not empowering to me. My energy is so valuable, and I choose to live a life that is a reflection of that beauty and that source of truth and that source of value. So sometimes in that, this is another thing for today, saying no is saying yes. Saying no is one of our most powerful tools for manifestation, because it's essentially taking out that sword and slicing away with compassion and love for ourselves and for our highest vision and for the other person, what we're no longer available for. So let's say you're in a relationship that is not allowing you to be in your fullest, highest power and essence. And you've maybe been in that relationship for a while, or you've been waiting for the moment that it would feel right to separate yourself. And you lose a lot of energy on a daily basis in that relationship. That would be an example of how, this is ultimately the time where saying no is the most important thing to do. Because when you're saying no, you're refining and clearing out your field so that you are more, you are a match, you are connected to that core code, and you're standing for your truth. So saying no is saying yes, and it is one of the most important tools that we have for manifestation. All right, let's see. Manifestation, to go back to the beginning a little bit, manifestation is nothing more than getting out of the way. When we're manifesting, we're not actually creating something on the outside. That's impossible, because everything's it's done. The energy is being created, but it is being created by us in the sense that it's responding to our energy, but we're not responsible for making something on the outside. We're responsible for what we're activating within our being. And so when something manifests in your life, you're not manifesting it. It manifests in front of you. It comes to you because you're finally an energetic match for it at a very deep level. And what that means is, if you're manifesting powerfully, you're simply manifesting from your core code. Your core code, what the light, the divine light, the one light that is coming into all of us, that's connecting all of us, is moving through you and projecting itself and emanating itself into this world and allowing you to attract the exact people, experiences, and opportunities that are matched for your highest potential. So your core code holds the information, just like a seed, just like a teeny tiny seed becomes a huge redwood tree. That's like your core code. It has all of the wisdom already within it. But the only way that we, when our lives are not in accordance with our highest possibility, is when we are living from the distortions and the conditioning again, then we're living, rather than living from our core code. So that's why the sword of discernment and that cutting edge power that you hold as a warrior at this time to say, no, I'm no longer available for the conditioning that's been draining my energy and exploiting me. I stand for a world where my pure heart, my power, my divinity is honored and elevated and held and supported, not exploited. And so you look at the different areas of your life and recognize, okay, is this in my life actually gifting me? Is this a match? Is this honoring me? Is this a match to my dignity and my power and my beauty? And if it's not, then it truly is time to let it go. Because when you say no, you're saying yes to what you want. And the faster you do this, the quicker things begin to unfold. So because manifestation, it doesn't have to take time. It's actually just responding to your availability for that thing that wants to come to you, that thing that's already literally coded with that core code that you hold. But it can't come in when you're living from the fear place, and the ego place. All right. So I'm just going to pause for a second. Okay, so we're going to move into this other part. Elements. We are made of the elements: fire, water, earth, ether, and air. We are made of these elements. Everything around us is made of these elements. This is really powerful and really beautiful. So think of flame, and you can put your finger through a flame like pretty quickly, and it's soft when you do that. If you've ever done that, fire in its essence is soft. Water in its essence is soft. You put your hand in just like a cup of water, it's soft. Air is it's soft. It's ether is soft. All and like the finest sand is soft. So every element at in its essence is soft. The elements are the dynamic divine feminine. The elements create this earth and nature. At its core, the essence of nature is soft. Nature and the elements have the power to destroy and transform. Fire can burn down an entire forest. These solid trees, the solid earth can be transformed. A building can be transformed by water, can be taken out by water. Ultimately, things can be dissolved by water. Things can be burned and transformed by flame. Ether, things can be ultimately transmuted. So ether to me is like the void, and it's a space of emptiness. It's beyond ether almost even. Um, but it's in order for the transformation to happen, the very nature of that element is soft. So, okay, I'm just gonna pause this is really beautiful, big, big information. So sometimes it's like I just need to pause to let my energy be a match for it. So one moment. So the goddess, the divine feminine, is, thanks for all the comments, you guys. It's great to see you. The divine feminine is this earth. It is fire, water, air, ether, and earth. So the divine feminine is soft at its essence, but it also has the power to transform. It is the sword and it is compassion. So, okay, going back for a moment, as much as my message and my movement personally, this is just on personal level, I've been called to be a bit in the cutting edge, using strong, powerful energy that is like a bit disruptive and confronting and not always comfortable. I've been called to that. It's out of love, obviously, but it's not always comfortable. It's transformational, but the deepest transformation, in my personal life, there's been moments where I've been called out by teachers and healers and friends, and I've called myself out, and I've had to get really, really, really real about what I'm holding, what patterns I'm holding, and take responsibility in a disruptive, confronting way. That has been a part of my journey. But ultimately, the actual transformation, the actual healing, which is really revealing, that took place happened through the energy of compassion. So the sword can be there, that cutting edge energy, the intensity is important. But what's actually going to transform and heal and clear and reveal to us the truth and connect us back to what we want to feel and the love and the peace that's within, it's actually shifting into softness. It's moving away from the cutting edge and moving into softness. So now going back to the elements, in order for something that is so physically dense to actually be transformed, it needs something that's the exact opposite. It needs the most subtle, soft flame to get into the spaces within that contraction to actually let the dissolve happen, the transformation happen. So that's just as a forest fire, just as fires transforming the physical matter, that's what we're doing in healing work. Is we're getting into the areas that are so contracted within us, that are showing up in our life as the distortions in our body and field and energy, that are keeping us from that divine light flowing through the core code and projecting and allowing our lives to be a match for our highest potential. Instead, we're living in that contracted way. All we're doing when we're healing / revealing is letting love, light, and compassion soften the energy that's dense, and allowing that to disperse enough so that what is revealed, once the blockages, the contractions around us are burned away ultimately, or dissolved away, or transmuted, then all that's left is this clarity, and the light, that one light that is connecting us all, is moving through the clear system, and your life becomes a projection of your highest truth. So yeah. All right. So I hope that's landing with you. My point in all of this is to look at like how this connects to the divine feminine. I'll just go there. The divine feminine energy, your power as a woman is in your softness. I mean, all of our power as human beings is in our softness. We think that we have control, but at any moment, this earth, this goddess that is around us, can destruct and destroy. And we are subject to that. You know, we are connected to her, but we're also, we don't have control over the goddess that is this earth. That's why natural disasters happen, and they're devastating and destructive, and their remembrance of the power that this earth holds and that this earth carries. But it's really beautiful to recognize that in what's actually creating the destruction is softness. That the destruction could not happen. It's the softness that's actually creating the clearing. I'm not saying that natural disasters are good. That's not. But they're disastrous. But beyond the sad part of that, I'm just speaking of elements. This earth and the divine feminine, the softness is such a deep aspect of our power. So if you're wanting to heal, or you're wanting to manifest, then if you know that you have some healing work to do, or you're working on manifesting something, this is what I want to shift us to. All we really are doing is revealing. If you're working to manifest or you're wanting to heal, shift your attention to revealing. Because in revealing, you will manifest and you're instantly healed. Does that make sense? And in order to heal, connect to the energy of compassion, because compassion is like the soft essence of all of the elements. Softness, we are the elements. So our essence, just like fire is soft at its core, just like water is soft at its core, we are soft at our core. We may be physically hard, but in essence, our very essence is softness and gentleness. So yes, there's time for cutting edge, and there's also time for compassion. All right, I'm just going to scan through this really quick and see the last couple of things that are coming up. If anyone has any questions, let me know. This is a perfect time for that. All right, so when pain comes up, recognize it, go into it, soften it, and transmute it. Right now, there's a lot of stuff being kicked up in my experience, just because this is actually a really pivotal moment. This is a really pivotal time as we move. 2020 is huge. It's really big. And so it's beautiful that you might be experiencing some of those core wounds coming up. Core wounds, it's funny, but those core wounds are like, they're here to be alchemized in this lifetime. So to heal, to reveal, the process is ultimately, this is more of the work I do in the trainings, but to allow it to come up, invite it to come up, celebrate it when it comes up, recognize that it's there when you're having that emotional flare up, or that you're living in your pain body, or you're distorted in some sort of energy. Go into it and hold yourself there with so much gentleness and compassion. And that softness begins to seep through the wound and clear out the energy. That's why when you have an emotional eruption, let's say, it is one of the most powerful moments that you have access to, because in that moment, the, your power is right on the other side of that. It's the goddess inside of you. Anytime you're feeling physical or emotional pain, it's the goddess inside of you calling forth her divine masculine lover to come in. That's your awareness, your attention, calling forth his attention so that the tension can be dissolved, so that that loving awareness that is activated, that compassionate, loving awareness is actually the healing that is allowing there to be enough softness that we're restored back into that soft nature. So think of like in love relationship, when you're with your lover and you have maybe a moment just as a woman where you're maybe testing him, or you're feeling a little bit edgy or contracted or tight and tense. What we really are wanting 90% of the time is for our lover to come toward us, even though we're a little contracted in that moment. We're wanting our lover to come toward us and soften us with his words. This goes beyond gender, but it's polarity. So soften us with his words, with his touch, with his attention, so that tension softens. And when that happens, we are both skyrocketed into divine feminine power. When he softens you, when he takes you out of that contracted state and you soften back into your essence state of softness, he can then penetrate you powerfully, and both of you are taken to that high level of power and potential. So that's the beauty of pain and contraction and emotional outbursts and the divine feminine dynamic storm, is its continuous portal points to power and opportunities to reveal truth. We're not just meant to be in expansion all the time, especially as women. We're really here to be in contraction and expansion. All right. So just a last couple things before we close out. Actually, everyone just take one deep breath in if you can from you. You can even put one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly. And just take a deep breath in and out right now. Feel yourself let go. Feel the energy that's perhaps activated in your head right now, in your mind. Even imagine just like raindrops moving downward toward your heart, or like a waterfall, a stream moving downward toward your heart. That energy moving down through your entire body into the earth. This downward flow of energy is the direction of the goddess. The divine feminine moves down, the divine masculine moves up. Amrita, the divine nectar of the goddess, moves down, and sperm, a man's sperm, moves up. So these two fluids meet, but one is moving up, one is moving down. The goddess movement is downward. So in this moment, just really anchor yourself to this earth. Feel yourself get settled in your body, really heavy and rooted, connected to the earth. Allow yourself to lean back energetically. And in this stability, self-sourcing your own stability and security, you can soften. And you are now literally activated in your divine masculine and your divine feminine. You are soft and steady, secure and free. So just notice how that feels right now. I'm just going to share a list of words that came in today. So these are divine feminine activation words, or the divine feminine frequencies. And each word is actually holding both masculine and feminine energy, but they're ultimately codes. So each word is alive, and the words can activate you and come alive inside of you. So in this state of just receiving, take a deep breath in. I'm just going to list off these words and notice how each word makes you feel as you hear these and as you receive these. Spontaneity, surrender, gratitude, impulse, sweetness, kindness, love, peace. Take a deep breath in. Notice how you feel. And in this moment, you are revealed to your truth. You are closer to connecting to that core code right now in this soft and secure state, activated in frequencies that are truly divine energies, that are your truth, that are free of fear. In this moment, you're choosing out of that fear and conditioning, and you're simply connecting to what's already here. You're revealing what's available and revealing the state in which everything you need is fulfilled. So walking around the world in this state is walking around the world in your feminine power. Walking around the world feeling this way, secure and stable and soft all at the same time, connected to those energies, along with there's a lot of other feminine frequencies, but these are the ones that came in for today specifically. So if any of those words spoke out to you or activated you literally, or just kind of caught your eye, caught your attention, I invite you to write them down. I've worked with words a long time, and they've been pretty much my number one most important teacher. Because they work on us passively. It's like getting a massage almost, just like we receive it. So write down the words that maybe came to you throughout this time together, or any of the ones that we just listed: spontaneity, surrender, gratitude, impulse, sweetness, kindness, love, and peace. And if any of those stuck out to you, just write them down and look at them over the next week or two and work with those words. So I'm going to close out with, hold on. You guys are seeing me in like a very raw state right now, honestly. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, part of my movement, part of my message is as women, our power is in our dynamic nature. So I can come out and be powerful. And I do sometimes show up as that, like very passionate. Sometimes my voice and what I'm saying is fiery. But that's just one side of my power as a woman. There's also this very deep softness and depth that is more like raw. And there's a part of me that's like, oh my gosh, I should like not, I don't know. In this video, for example, I'm like, this is different than the way I've shown up in the past. But what's powerful about the way I am right now, because I'm honestly a little bit raw and like, I'm really deep in my heart and energy. And so my head, like words are a little bit harder right now in a way. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful to share that with you. And it's beautiful for you to see this aspect of my feminine power, because this is an aspect of my feminine power. I've been here all day just taking care of myself, working, but really working inwardly too. And so right now you're seeing me raw. And that is something that the divine masculine, when we allow ourselves to be seen at this level, it's a gift. It's really beautiful to share that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I'm just going to touch in with these comments. Okay. Yes, there's a belief that in order to manifest something, we have to pursue it and be hard. It's so exhausting. Thank you for sharing. You transform our lives. Oh, thank you, Lupita. It's very sweet. Anya, you have just hit the core of my calling for him. It actually happened today. Wow. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that sounds really powerful. I'd love to know more. How can we get out of this belief that the masculine way is the only way to be worthy? Yep, that's a really good question. So recognizing that's a little bit like the sword of discernment and that cutting edge energy where it's like it's just not working anymore. And to me, what there's going to be what we'll see. Remember when people talked about energy and the word frequency was like this super woo-woo word, and now it's so normal. And that's what's going to be happening more and more, that the spiritual existence and the true power that we hold as women is, or as human beings, is the spiritual and physical. So if the individuals that will really be leading the world will be connected deeply spiritually, and the more we're going to be seeing so much more, even way more, on TV. It is going to be moving toward this spiritual leadership that is going to be happening, because that's true power. The false system is dying. So one of the ways, I mean, honestly, a little bit of motivation is, do you want true power, or do you want to be in the false power? So the masculine way for us as women, being controlled and rigid in every single part of our lives, trying to be perfect, feeling like our worth is in our external, not valuing the energy that we hold, saying yes to experiences where we're really settling, saying yes to experiences where we're not really being honored. Yeah, so many more things. That is us choosing into the paradigm that keeps us disempowered and trapped, and we will lose our power. We will not have power as we move forward to 2020. So a little bit of it is just the motivation of, I'm choosing to. It's high stakes to me, and I just value true power. I value true beauty. I value true wisdom with a capital T, where it's sourced from, to me, the divine. I mean, everything is divine, but the frequency is pure. That's, to me, what differentiates something as true power versus not power. That the frequency, someone can have power, but if their frequency is distorted and dense and coming from fear and ego, then it's not true power. And it's like it's the difference between a mountain and a skyscraper. The mountain is far more secure than the skyscraper. It ultimately is. So that's the difference between false power and true power to me. So a big part of it is just recognizing. I have the disempowerment detox. If anyone wants to know about that, I'll put a link below. The disempowerment detox is a 3-part, actually 4-part video training with the bonus that helps you actually detox from the disempowerment, from the conditioning. So I'll add that to the link. But I hope that helps. Using my feminine energy to heal those around me has been the most fulfilling experience for me. Yeah, and I would invite you to look at that. What you're doing, all you're doing is by you being connected to your power, you're activating, you're the initiator and the activator, which is the definition of the elevated woman, for higher potential on the planet. By simply being rooted and revealed in your truth, you're a mirror to them. They attracted you into their field so that they can be activated by your truth, by your true power and presence in front of them. So you're not healing them. They are experiencing themselves be revealed to their own power standing in front of you. I don't heal anyone. I am a revealer. I can help them to reveal their truth to them. So I also think that there's not even going to be, like, I was talking to a couple of my friends the other day, and I'm like, we are revealers. We're not healers. Like, that's what that statement, I've never heard it before, but it came in just the other day. That statement we're going to be using that word. So another, I'm going to use that again later. Okay. So I also want to invite you into a program that I'm doing in January. So if anyone's feeling really like resonant with what I'm speaking about right now, and you're wanting to experience true power, wanting to experience true beauty, true ability to manifest, true experience of abundance, divine love, true love that is rooted from your core code, that's the work that I'm ultimately doing with people. So I'm releasing a program in 2020. It's called the Feminine Elevation System. And Right when I said that, it was 444, 4444 when I on the timer. But so the Feminine Elevation System is a 90-day mentorship program where there's two philosophies in it. The first is we're revealing, we're releasing, we're healing, we're letting go of the distortions that are preventing us from living in that core code. And then as a byproduct of that, revealing to the core code, everything you want can come in as a byproduct. So I will not teach you how to lose weight and create sustainable fitness by any sort of diet plan and, structure. But I will promise you that in following the feminine energy way of life that ultimately I'm teaching in this program, that will come in as a byproduct. I also can guarantee that in embodying your feminine energy, that the abundance, money, all of that can come in as a byproduct. The correct alignment in your job and career can come in as a byproduct. I also can promise that as a byproduct of aligning with your feminine energy, living in the feminine energy way of life, and abiding by your core code, essentially, stepping out of fear, that the divine love that is a match for your true power can come in as a byproduct. No one is coming into this course with any goal. You could have desires, but that goal, that very goal, is actually working against you and pushing those things out of your life and preventing them from coming in. So if you're interested in that, I'll also put a link in the comments. And you can schedule a call with Josh, who's going to be assisting me in the program as well. He's a really powerful divine masculine presence. He actually does exactly what I do, but for men. And so he's been, I received him in my life in a really powerful way, and it's huge what we're doing. So if you're interested in learning more about the Feminine Elevation System, which is the 90-day mentorship beginning January 7th, I highly recommend it. If you are really wanting to step into true power as we head into 2020, and activate that elevated woman essence within you and become the activator and initiator. And, the biggest thing is you are all going to be called to different things. And one thing that I will remind you of is that when you act out of courage and trust, even if it feels uncomfortable, that is how you step into your power. In order to create transformation, we must do something a little bit different, right? We must meet the contraction of fear with the softness of trust and take action. Action is super important. If you're stagnant, then take action. If nothing's been changing, then create. So contraction serves us when we go into it, and then the expansion happens. Always expansion is going to follow contraction, but our lives are meant to look like this. Just like the universe is expanding every moment, we are the universe, and our lives are meant to work like this. But a lot of people are stuck here because they're not willing to take a leap of faith, and they're not willing to, really step into the courage. And they're stuck in the same contraction. They're stuck in the same patterns. So for me, honestly, investing, no. So all right. So I'm going to close out soon, but bottom line, expansion and contraction, that is the goddess energy. It's the impulse. It's the vibration of life. And, oh, good. Yes. I know you're in. I'm so excited that you're in the program. It's so exciting. Okay. So let's see. I was going to say something and I totally lost it, but bottom line, what the biggest, in order for me to create the transformation that I've made in the last 3 years in a really, really huge way, it's taken courage, investment, and trust. Those 3 things. A lot of people have ideas, a lot of people have desires, but not everyone has chosen into those frequencies and energies. So the cutting edge part of me wants to say that if you really want to create change, courage, invest, and trust. Have courage, invest in yourself because that's increasing your self value, literally value, and trust. If you want to be an elevated woman, elevate the way what you bring into your life, elevate the frequency of the things, the clothes, the people, the food, elevate everything in your life so that you everything around you is a match for you and your highest power and potential. Your spiritual energy is you, and it deserves the finest of things. It is the highest. So if you want to step into your power, align with that truth, who you really are, and take actions and make choices that are in alignment. The person that you decide to be in a relationship with, the food that you decide to eat, all of it is you deciding whether all of it is you choosing in or out of your power. And the more that you choose into your power, the more that your life will literally be a living, breathing hologram experience of the divine. Everything around you is your highest energy, your highest potential. Okay, so I think that's it. There's definitely more. Did you guys like this? I hope this was fun for you. It was really fun for me. It was new for me. It was vulnerable for me a little bit because I don't usually share the information as it comes in directly. I usually kind of like change it a little before I share it, but this is just that's me stepping into my power right now. Is just deciding that I get to be even more transparent and real. All right. Yes. Okay. So I'll add the link to the comments. Let's see if I can find it right now. And I will talk to you guys soon. All right. So a couple things actually before I leave. I'll leave comments. Let's see. Here, if you've never been to this place before, eastwestinterviews.com, that's where you can join the community and ultimately receive emails from me that will keep you updated. So I'm going to be doing a free training pretty soon in the next week or two for the new year. And so you'll get notified about that. And make sure that your emails that you're receiving from me are going into your inbox. If this is the first time to my channel, definitely subscribe too, because this is where I'm going to be doing the feminine energy updates and downloads monthly and more frequently than that as well. So as long as you're in that eastwestinterviews.com, that's the place to really get all the information that you want. I will also do a little bit of work right now to find the detox and put that link in the comments as well, and the description, as well as a link to sign up for a call with Josh and read about the feminine elevation system and see if it's something that you want to step into in 2020. All right, you can always email me, write a comment, and I'll respond. So thanks for being here and spending this time with me. It was really an honor to be here with everyone. It's fun. It's fun to watch my channel just grow. I haven't really been doing a lot to it, honestly, at all. But it's really beautiful to be cultivating this community together. So thanks for being here and lots of love.